welcome to Sports Counsel, your playbook for all things sports. I am your host Matt, and I am here with G and Bryant for this episode of the show. NFL Free Agency 2026 is officially underway, with multiple big-name players already on the move. We react and discuss all the biggest moves and signings, including players like Mike Evans, Kenneth Walker, Alec, Tua Tagavailoa, and many more. Today is March 11th, 2026, and this is episode 209 of the show.
Welcome, guys. I'm re-signing.
You re-signed? How long did we give you again? Like a couple-year extension? Or did we franchise
No,
tag
that
you?
was the last one. That was previously. I started off on actually a franchise tag, and now I worked my way to a max contract. At least that's what my agent told me. I was getting a max contract.
I think we restructured, Gav and Dylan's contracts, and I think we cut Nando. So that's why we got some room for you.
And worst comes to worst, if we learned anything from the last couple of days, and if you don't want to do the deal, just back out.
Yeah.
I might get cold feet. I don't know.
We better not see G come out of this with like a failed physical,
Oh,
I haven't done the paperwork yet, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we're not out of our legal tampering period.
Okay, well, to start off, welcome everybody. We're back. We are here for a free agency special episode of the show. I know we haven't been here since the Super Bowl, but we have a lot to cover here. And if you haven't heard of us before, now you know. We are Sports Counsel. This is our podcast. And G, where can the people find Sports Counsel?
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt. And for all the people that are asking, Sports Counsel can be found on all your favorite social medias. So I'm talking Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are, we're there. So go ahead, search sports_counsel. It's 2 words, 1 underscore. Couldn't be easier. Go and follow us, drop the notification. And then once you're in there, go link at the bio. There's a link in there that lets you go ahead, join our Discord. The best place to interact and get live reactions. You'll always see kind of like the chaos going up in there. So make sure you go there, join. It's free. So go follow. And special announcement. Since it is, check your calendars. March. You know what that means. It's a March Madness tournament. We were going to be making our brackets. Everybody that's listening, go and join the March Madness tournament. Whoever gets the most right will get a shout out. It's going to be on all our social medias. It'll be the first tweet, probably pinned or whatever it is, whatever platform you're looking at. So join. That's also going to be free. But hey, you get bragging rights and a shout out. So I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. Join our community immediately. Sports_counsel. Discord is in the bio. And March Madness is coming up, so definitely join our bracket group. Put in your bracket. See if you can beat our experts here. Do you know who the best in college basketball is going to be, Bryant?
I think I've been watching some.
You watched some?
It's been a pretty crazy. I watched like one video on it. I don't typically watch like college basketball, but there's all these like really good like rookie players, like the guy like DeBosta on BYU. I think the guy on Duke, he got hurt.
Boozer, Peterson. There's a bunch of guys actually. That's the same reason I kind of watched a few games. I saw probably a similar TikTok or something like you did, but after watching that, I was like, dude, these guys are kind of good. I'm gonna watch some of these games, and then maybe where me and Matt relate a little bit more. But once you start watching, you're like, hey, what if I just bet on it? And then you're really watching the games, and then next thing you know, you're watching like Arkansas versus North Carolina. Both teams aren't rated or something. I don't know, man. It gets bad, but I think I have understanding this year, but I doubt it's gonna help me.
All right, we expect you to represent our analysts here, then, G, for the highest score.
I'll try my best.
All right. Well, definitely join. Let's see what happens. But today we are going to be covering NFL free agency. Unfortunately, I guess fortunately for some, the legal tampering period is over and teams are officially able to sign free agents at this time. And we had a lot of, breaking news in the last 2 days on Monday and Tuesday of all these deals that were being made. But we're actually going to start our reactions and our thoughts on the first thing we're going to cover is a trade that happened last Friday night, which involved one Raiders pass rusher, Max Crosby, So just to give the full backstory for anyone who is unaware of kind of the timeline of events that happened, on Friday night, the Raiders traded Max Crosby to the Ravens for 2 first-round draft picks. This was reportedly the asking price that they've been asking for the entire offseason, and the Ravens were the ones who accepted that. And, it was a done deal. It was a done deal as trades normally go. But about Tuesday night, I want to say, there was reports that the trade had been reversed by the Ravens, according to an official announcement by the Raiders' Twitter saying that the trade has been reversed because of the Baltimore Ravens. And as the reporters kind of looked into it a little bit more, it was due to something that the Ravens found on Max Crosby's physical, because he recently had a meniscus injury surgery that was performed, I believe, within the last few weeks of the regular season. They decided to reverse the trade. They did not feel good about the injury, reportedly, and now the Raiders, who had already made a bunch of moves and signings in the previous 2 days during the legal tampering period, now we're stuck with Max Crosby and his $30 million per year contract back on the books. So obviously the Raiders were pissed, and nobody knows what's going on. And then the last part is that today, Wednesday morning, it was announced that Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals defensive end, who plays about the same position as Max Crosby does, signed a similar 4-year, $120 million deal, which is about average $30 million per year. So there's a lot to take in here, guys. There's a lot of different angles people have approached this, but I just want to get your initial thoughts on this. I mean, first of all, completely shocking. First big drama of the offseason, and that's what I love to hear when it doesn't involve my team.
Yeah, and it's involving your rival's team. It's even better. I mean, originally I thought the trade was a good trade. I thought it was a better trade for the Raiders. Giving up 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby felt like a bit of an overpay. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but it felt like, you could have allocated resources differently. They weren't one Max Crosby away, in my opinion. But the trade was fair. He's a great player. That's what he goes for. But then the trade got reversed. And then, if you're going to blame the failed physical, right? So if we're really breaking it down, mm-hmm. I totally understand that. And you're going to go ahead and then sign Trey Hendrickson. And then it's like, you're going to give him $100-something million. I just can't imagine, and of course the report right after that is the Ravens were intending to sign both. But I really doubt that. I really think that's just like cleaning your behind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like the fact that they got like Hendrickson on board, like within 24 hours, so they were definitely looking at both players beforehand. So I'm starting to think maybe it was a combination of kind of both the things we're thinking about here, where they're considering both of those players clearly, and then maybe they did see something on the injury report. Maybe it's not like a fatal, like a terrible injury. I don't know how to describe it there, a really bad one there, but they were just like, there's some degree of injury risk with Crosby. Let's just swap to Hendrickson. And I don't know how the legals work out for that. If they somehow the Ravens just trying to get their way out of agreeing with Crosby and just go to Hendrickson. But it clearly does seem like, at least to me, that they had Hendrickson in the back pocket because of just how fast they pivoted and got a contract outright to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they must have thought to themselves, like, why pay 2 first-round picks when we can just get maybe 85% of the production and keep our picks?
Yeah, let's go from one
Definitely
white pass rusher for another, and keep your draft picks. Yeah, I could see this coming a couple of different ways, right? I think that first of all, to your point, G, yeah, I thought that it was a little much, right? 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby is a lot. I'm not saying he's not worth it, but it is a lot of investment for a soon-to-be 29-year-old pass rusher who does have that concern. I'm not saying that anytime you get any kind of surgery, even though they say that, you're going to be ready by training camp or week 1 or whatever, yes, it's going to be a little bit more of a risk, especially when you get older. And giving up 2 years for maybe your age 29 and age 30 season of Max Crosby and, beyond, it's a little dicey, right, to begin with. But they made that trade. Second thing is that, it goes down in one of 2 ways right now in what happened Tuesday, right? Either Baltimore knew that they had Trey Hendrickson in the bag, right? And they said, well, now that we have Trey Hendrickson, because we assumed that he would be signed immediately because the market would be so good for him. He just came off a franchise tag deal. He was going to have high demand. But now he's available, right? So why don't we just sign him, fail Max Crosby's physical, we can get our draft picks back, we still get a pass rusher, right? Could go down like that. Or the Raiders sold them damaged goods and they realized, wow, we really don't like the meniscus injury here.
How bad could it have been? Like, the guy had surgery at week 17, the second to last week of the season, and he was in crutches last week. Like, I assume like he wasn't gonna be able to pass the physical.
I think it was
just
like
logically mixed.
They said it was not a cleanup, right? Because Ian Rappaport, he said it was a tear. It was an actual tear. They had to do surgery on it, right? It's not like something procedural, right? So
yeah, no, that's what my understanding was too.
Thing. Yeah. And he also played, I think I saw a stat that he played like the most defensive snaps. He has a lot of workload already on him. So all of that being said, like maybe there's a chance that he has some kind of deteriorative thing, right? They have arthritis or something like that in his knee, and they were just really concerned, and they nixed the deal because they just did not like it. And, you can do that. Technically, you can do that. I don't think we're ever going to know specifically what happened.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to know, because you're going to have every source just trying to clean themselves up, right? Like the Ravens put out that, we wanted to get both of them. And then you'll hear from Crosby, I was good to play week 17 and 18. I'm pretty sure he was trying to still play. So it's like, for him, he's probably ready to go, at the beginning of the year. And then that's what his agent was saying as well. If you guys seen the tweet from his agent, who said Crosby would be ready to go at the beginning of the year. And then you have the Raiders, who were probably just like, why did we get screwed over like this?
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot worse if they didn't have the cap space, but they still managed to have the cap space, even though they gave out like $217 million worth of contracts out in the first 2 days. So that's good for them, at least. I don't think they're going to get nearly the same amount of return as they do now, because now there's that concern that's out there. It's public. Everyone knows about it. And you're not going to get those 2 first-round picks anymore. I just don't see it unless someone's very desperate. And then you also have teams that already committed all that cap space, knowing that they couldn't get Max Crosby, so they pivoted elsewhere, like the Carolina signing Jalen Phillips, or Washington signing Odafe Owe. Like, these are pass rushers that got big deals. Now they're not on the market for one. So less demand. Now you have more issues with the injury. It's going to be very hard. So the Raiders got really screwed here.
Yeah, just classic Raider business, though.
The Raiders are your biggest loser.
Yeah, it feels bad to be Crosby, though.
Yeah, I'm sure that, I don't know what happens now. It's a little awkward to come back after posting like a 7-minute goodbye video, but...
Yeah, I think he still gets traded. I just don't think you can bring him back. You probably just don't end up getting the 2 first. I think also maybe you hold him for a bit, because right now his price is probably the lowest it's been ever, in terms of just trade value, right? So you probably start reaching back out to teams like, hey, what do you want for him? And then you kind of start the bidding war again, right? To get Max Crosby's value back up would be my guess. And then a month, maybe closer to the actual draft, you actually go ahead and then trade him, right? Because I would assume they'd want 2026 picks.
Yeah, I still think that... I saw a lot of Raiders fans, we posted about it on Threads, a lot of Raiders fans are like, oh, this is a great thing for us. Now we get Crosby back and we get to load up on defense. There's a reason, they traded him, because they want to build for the future, right? A 29-year-old Max Crosby is not in your rebuilding plans. So
yeah, if you can get 2 firsts for a guy that's 29, that's the high key why I thought it was overpay. It was 29, man. Like, everybody, they showed a graphic where every player that's been traded that's a non-quarterback for 2 first-round picks has been like 25 or 26 or younger than that, right? So your Micah Parsons, your Laramie Tunsil's, like your guys, then it all works, or more relatively works. I just in theory, at 29, it's just, I don't know. I don't think that would have made sense. Then you get maybe 2 good years out of it, right?
Yeah, so I think that, Baltimore is kind of in the middle of that, contending team versus not contending. They do have a new coach. If they thought that it was a boost right away to a playoff team, contending team, then I would think that it's fine. But it was a debatable move. So, we'll see what happens with that. Let's move on to some of the other deals that actually did get completed I mean, fingers crossed on this next one because I did not see an announcement yet, but I very much hope that it will be finalized soon. Tampa Bay longtime wide receiver, Mike Evans, agreed to terms with the San Francisco 49ers. It was reported first that it would be a 3-year, $60 million deal, but I have heard other reports that now say that it's about 3 years, $42 million, with $16 million guaranteed, which basically means it's like a 1-year, $16 million deal. This is a big thing, guys. I mean, first of all, as the residential pessimist for the 49ers, and as a 49ers fan myself, I really love the move. I really, really like this move. And I hope that doesn't end in a bad quote, basically, right there. But
yeah, you hope the substation conspiracy theory just isn't real here. I guess that's the last thing we need. Honestly, I remember, I guess it was 2 days ago, I was thinking, I saw some tweet, it was like, oh, Mike Evans could be going to the Vikings or, I don't know, some other random team out there. I was like, he could be a pretty good fit for the 49ers. And then it actually happened, and my eyes bulged out of my head, like, whoa, we got basically a Hall of Famer on the Niners here. To be fair, he is more towards the latter part of his career. I think that's why he wanted the trade too. He wanted to go to find some different scenery to finish off kind of his legendary career here. But I mean, yeah, if he stays healthy, which I mean, he's most known for, right? 11 years straight of 1,000-yard season. So I don't think it's just going to suddenly be Mike Evans just injury prone just like that there. But, right, fingers crossed. This is the 49ers we're talking about. But, if he's healthy...
I mean, injury beside, he's going to be good for you guys. I mean,
yeah,
obviously you hope no one gets hurt, and that's not a thing anymore for you guys. But... unfortunately, that is a thing that has to even be brought up. Yeah.
The more we talk about it, I think the worse it gets.
No, stop talking about it, okay?
Right. So just pure fit, it makes a lot of sense. And, I think the role makes sense of what he's going to be doing, right? Because it's always been receivers for the Niners aren't high volume, they're more efficiency, right? A perfect example would be Brandon Ayuk, who only had, I think like 70 catches or something the year that he had his huge season. He led the league in yards per catch, right? That's typically also Mike Evans' type of, I would say, predominantly his game. So just in terms of schemes, I feel like it's going to be a seamless fit, right? And the money is perfect. It's basically a 1-year contract with the $60 million guaranteed at that first year. And then I doubt they end up keeping him past this year unless things go really well, which I really think they could. And as someone that, owns him in the Dynasty League, and I thought he was a gonzo asset, this couldn't have worked out any better. I think this is even better than staying in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, I still think even he's going to be like 33 when he starts the season. I still think he has at least 1 or 2 kind of good years left in him. I think
he's going to be a wide receiver 2 in fantasy this year. So I would say if I had to guess, somewhere between 13 and 24, right? Yeah, I think he'd definitely be. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, just his style of play, I think, fits well. Even he's like a little bit older there. He's a pretty big target because he just sucks in all those catches there. So yeah, I hope he's still good. Should be.
It's amazing what I saw about the sign-in right after it happened. Everyone was saying, "Oh my God, the most injury-prone team in the NFL is getting an old, injury-prone wide receiver. This is, and then there's so much negativity about it, and I was shocked, right? Because first of all, it's Mike Evans, guys. Like you said, Bryant, he's been insanely consistent. 11 straight seasons of 1,000 yards and more. This year, he broke his freaking collarbone when he dove on the field, right? Because of a Baker air ball. That's why he broke his collarbone and he was out for so long. It's not because he did have some lingering issues with, hamstrings and whatnot. That's just what happens with age. But it's not like he was extremely injury prone before. He's been out there. He's been on the field. He's been producing. And then the second thing is that this is a lot of what John Lynch didn't do last season, which is he had Devontae Adams on the market. He was a free agent after the Jets, and the Niners met with him. They were interested, but they lowballed him. They kind of gave him a very cheap deal. They didn't really want to invest too much in him. Devontae obviously declined, and he signed with the Rams instead, and he proceeded to have a huge breakout well, not breakout, but, a spectacular season as wide receiver 2 behind Puka, even at 33 years old, right? Even though these wide receivers get up here in age, they are not done. They are not cooked, and they can still be very useful. And right now, the Niners don't have a number 1 wide receiver. They don't have Juwan Jennings. He's not currently signed. Brandon Ayuk is a goner. Debo is not here anymore. So you basically have Ricky Pearsall, who's somewhat unproven. So you need a big guy like Mike Evans. He's going to be the X wide receiver. And we haven't seen a X wide receiver like Mike Evans in a Shanahan offense since, I would say Julio Jones, which was in 2016. And we all know what happened with that. We all saw what happened with that offense. So he will definitely fit in this offense. Kyle Shanahan will absolutely scheme him up to basically be that red zone threat that now we'll need because Kittle is out for a little while. He'll be exactly like what Devontae Adams was with the Rams, which is a big catch radius guy, jump balls, can just beat a guy man to man, which is something that they couldn't do in Seattle. So they needed that guy. This is a really good move. I really like the move. And I think Mike Evans, he really wanted out of Tampa, and he had 3 demands, right? He wanted to go with a good offensive coordinator. He wanted to go to a contender. He wanted to go with a good quarterback. So all of those have been fulfilled. I think it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it better myself.
Yeah.
I'm juiced. I'm happy for it. Like I said, I think wide receiver 2 season incoming.
In terms of ADP, though, switching to the fantasy perspective, I'll give my prediction first. I would draft him in the 4th or 5th round. I believe that's where Devontae Adams was going last year, and I would price it exactly where Devontae Adams was.
I think I was
honestly, even
more.
more.
5th, 6th, maybe.
Ooh. 5th, 6th?
Just because, I think I'm right there with you, but I'm just a little
The thing is, the difference between Adams and Evans is that Adams is definitely the number 2 behind Puka. Right now, there is really nobody competing for those catches with Evans. I think that he's going to be the number 1 guy. That's
I hate to do this. I just feel with the differences of Stafford versus Purdy.
That's fair.
I just don't know. Devontae did have 16 touchdowns this year. He was a product of the actual offense needing him in the sense of he had a very definite role. I know Mike Evans probably has something similar, but it's just also you guys run the ball a lot more. You have Christian McCaffrey. Maybe if he gets less workload through the 20s, he'll probably finish more drives. It does work that Kittle's back, but 4th seems a little too high.
I think it's a difference in philosophy. It's whether you believe that Kyle Shanahan's going to be more like McVay and throw it at the 1 yard line, at the 2 yard line to Devontae or Mike Evans, right? I think Kyle's normally been give it to Christian McCaffrey kind of guy. I think this is a little bit of a change in philosophy. I think that it allows Kyle to have his options. And again, Kittle was huge in the red zone. If it wasn't McCaffrey, it was going to Kittle. So that's where I see okay, I think that Mike Evans is going to get a lot more of these catches because if you're not doing that, you're not really paying him for there's no reason.
You might have sold me, man. Yeah. I might go 4th round too.
Good. All right. You can pick him up. I'm not going to pick him up though because he's 32.
I could pick him up. Sorry. I would definitely pick him up.
Do you have any opinion on this, Bryant?
I'll just go with consensus here. I think kind of 4th round there. It's a good point. It's we haven't seen Shanahan have that top tier wide receiver, in a while. But I think, I don't know, for fantasy purposes, maybe the touchdowns, maybe it gets spread out. Now you have McCaffrey, you got Kittle, Evans is a pretty big target in your red zone too. A lot remains to be seen. Who does one guy just get the bulk of those red zone targets, or is the love going to be spread out like that? So that might be pretty key with how he shapes out.
Yeah, and I'll do a little research. Maybe I'll talk about it later of what Shanahan's wide receivers have done. But I feel like they've generally been pretty successful when they're out on the field. It's just a matter of being out on the field.
I would punch him in for 1,000 yards again. I don't see why not.
Hope so. About 15, 20 touchdowns. That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, well, that'd be crazy. But I think this next one's the craziest one that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker of this year's Super Bowl decided to just leave, and he decided to go to the Kansas City Chiefs for 3 years, $43 million a year. Pretty reasonable deal. I mean, I think that the biggest question for me, guys, is that I really thought that Kenneth Walker was a lock to come back, because after the way he performed in that postseason, the fact that Zach Charbonnet was hurt with the torn ACL, and it's not always the easiest to come back from, I'm honestly very surprised that Seattle let him go.
I think when it happened, it was people were like, this has to be one of the people were struggling to find when was the last time someone won like Super Bowl MVP and then was off the team by the next year. So it's almost an unprecedented kind of situation.
Yeah, but it just I just think the writing was on the wall here. Like, I don't think they don't seem like a team that wants to pay a running back. They ran him by a committee until Charbonnet got hurt, and I think their plan wouldn't have changed if Charbonnet didn't get hurt. So that takes kind of a lot of the value out of Kenneth Walker. So now you're paying a premium for something you developed, right? So I think that's where it's like, it just doesn't make sense. Maybe he could have franchise tagged him, ran it back, as Charbonnet comes back, but it's easy to find running back, especially when you're only going to, pair them up in a committee. I think they made the right decision here, letting him go, and I think he made a great choice for himself too, to go to a team in the Chiefs that I think are going to need a running back, especially as Mahomes rehab his knee, and maybe he's playing, maybe he's not. But Bieniemy's there now, so the focus will definitely be on the offensive end of things. I think it's a great setup for him. What do you guys think about the fit?
I really like that Kansas City committed to actually doing something with their run game for once. Like, it feels like been a while since they've done something. Like, they had Isaiah Pacheco out there as a starter, a 7th round pick, and they didn't even make the switch to him until, I don't even remember who was the guy before him, but I remember they kind of benched him like midway through the season. Like, it's been a struggle ever since Kareem Hunt was gone.
Clyde
his first
Hilaire. Sorry.
Hilaire.
CEH.
There you go. CEH. So I guess that's an investment technically that did not work out. But I think this is very good for Kansas City. They needed this. They were one of the worst running teams in the NFL. I think Patrick Mahomes basically led that team in rushing yards. Pacheco sucked. Kareem Hunt's really old at this point. So they really needed Kenneth Walker. And I think, go out there, address that need. You really need him.
Yeah, I think Pacheco moved to Detroit, I believe. So he's now off a team. So they definitely need that running back. And I think even when the Chiefs were struggling this year, I don't think their O-line was very much part of their issues there. So they should have a solid O-line ready for Kenneth Walker. And we saw how well he did in the playoffs here. He can run, he can catch the ball out there. So he's a new dynamic weapon out there for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I have faith in Andy Reid to know what he's doing with his running backs. Like, we've seen him do great things with, Jerick McKinnon and, Pacheco out there. Like, again, I don't really have the most faith in Pacheco. Like, I know they said, like, have you guys saw all those things where it's like, oh, Pacheco's signing with Detroit Lions. He's going to be the new David Montgomery. He's going to be the new Sonic and Knuckles. And I was like,
No.
yeah,
so
David
stupid.
Montgomery was bad.
And then they were like, oh, he's the perfect type of player for Dan Campbell's like system. Like, what is his system? Dog shit running backs? Like, what? Like, what are we doing?
Pacheco had terrible efficiency this year. He'd averaged like 2 or 3 yards like a carry out here there. As a guy who had in fantasy,
The upgrade is huge,
at all.
bro. The upgrade is insane for Kenneth Walker to come into there. And I think switching into fantasy terms, like, sheesh, man, his ADP is going to be fucking through the roof.
I hate that. I really don't want to.
And I don't
that
think
much.
I'm going to take it. I
No.
think with all that being said, if he's in the second round and he's going to be my RB1, I'm so good off that. And I honestly could see him at the, maybe someone takes him at the back end of a first. On the swing.
Hey.
And I think I'm so good off that. When you're asking me whether I'd rather have like Bijan, Gibbs, even Derrick Henry, Etienne, JT, those guys I'm taking like just definitive. I know what I'm getting. You know what I mean?
I think, okay, so that's where it is. Okay, so I think the top 3, I mean, let's just project it a little bit here. Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Etienne.
CMC.
CMC, yeah. And then I'd say the Derrick Henry, yeah, go Derrick Henry, JT. And then I think you get into that back half of the first round where you're panicking at this point, where it's like, oh,
Yeah, this is
what
where I
do
go
do?
receiver though. This is where I
Right.
go receiver. I I think reaching on the running back here, and if that running back is Kenneth Walker, is a little much. I feel like Kenneth Walker should be around the ADP of maybe like a Chase Brown, maybe like
Okay.
I would say maybe last year's ADP, but not so much this year of Saquon maybe. Even then, I'd probably still take Saquon before him.
Probably go that way too.
Like I have a good one. How about Javonte Williams or Kenneth Walker for you guys?
Ooh, that is a good one.
He was sneaky nice, bro. And he re-signed. He got the money.
I will lean Walker. I'm going to lean Walker.
Yeah, I take Walker. Been burned by Javonte too many times.
But it's like if I told you if you're getting Javonte like around later.
Yeah. I think, okay, so big thing, Eric Bieniemy is now the offensive coordinator, not Matt Nagy.
Huge.
And, he was a constructor of the run game back in Chicago. He was a running backs coach, right? I think they were more successful with Bieniemy and Pacheco was more successful with Bieniemy when he was the Chiefs offensive coordinator. So, yes, I think there's a possible path for success, and it wouldn't surprise me if Kenneth Walker was the running back one, right? We've only seen him basically with Charbonnet in that timeshare, and everyone was frustrated, right? So if they really give him the reins, yes, I think he is a running back one. My concern is that sometimes that's not going to happen, right? Because Andy Reid has switched running backs a lot, but we don't know if that's a matter of talent or that's just because that's what Andy Reid does. So, I mean, with Kareem Hunt, I think he just used him like crazy and he was a running back one. So I would say that in the mid-second round right now, I'd price it that way, just based on everything else. Like Omari and Hampton versus Kenneth Walker, that's something I'm looking at right now. And I'd probably go Hampton.
I would go Walker. The one that the younger running back that I would take is actually Genty. I would still take Genty over Kenneth Walker.
My thing is that I think they're gonna make that backfield split.
Yeah, but until they get a guy, I'm not gonna believe it, and even then, I won't believe it. I'm delusional.
It's Clint Kubiak, man. We know who he is.
It's going to be interesting what happens in the Seattle backfield, though. I think kind of quickly to mention that, like, if you're, a dynasty player or even just a young running back type of guy, Matt, whoever they draft is going to have a great shot at being an RB1 right away.
Yeah, I don't trust running backs coming off of ACL tears in their first season, so I'm a little wary on Charbonnet. Just a quick thought.
And it happened so late in the season, so I don't even think he'll be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have to definitely share it there. Well, I mean, Kenneth Walker, I'm looking at trying to find his ADP from last year. He was the RB17, the 43rd pick, at least from whatever source I'm looking at over here, too.
Yeah,
so,
it's like fourth
it sounds like, I guess middle, late third, I guess, if he's number 43. Mm-hmm. Depending on how you think about it. I mean, it sounds like we'd all go higher than him, for sure, than his ADP last year. I mean, I'd probably put him somewhere like I don't know, late second, early third, something like that.
Believe me, he's gonna be in the early second. It's gonna be a lot like the Saquon Eagles first year, where they don't really know, but people believe in it. So I think running backs come at a value. So I think he will be around the second round or even the first round. It's gonna go crazy. It's always like that. But let's move on to the other free agent signing that we quickly want to cover here. The running back, Travis Etienne. He also moved from Jacksonville to New Orleans. A little less flashy of a player, a little less flashy of a deal and team. I mean, I think this is, first of all, a sayonara to Alvin Kamara, because I think we all saw it. We all talked about it, last season, where he was obviously declining out there. He wasn't very fantasy viable anymore, and maybe production-wise, he's not that viable anymore. He might look for a new destination. We don't know yet this offseason. I like the move in a vacuum, and I do believe that Kellen Moore, I believe in Kellen Moore, and I believe in the Saints offense and what they're cooking up. Where do you see Travis Etienne in terms of fantasy talks?
I think he's similarly ranked to Kenneth Walker. I didn't want to bring him up since we hadn't mentioned him yet. So the comp there, I feel like, is also really good. I think production-wise, the offense was pretty good last year at the end of it. And it felt like they needed a running back, someone that could just take the whole backfield. And I think that's exactly what they have. So I have no reasons to really doubt why Etienne, production-wise, didn't stay to where he was last year, or just a little bit better or worse, give or take, but nothing to where I'd be like doubting where he's going to go in ADP. I think middle of second round, that feels fair for him. Late second, I think that's perfect for Etienne.
Dang. Well, first, rest in peace, Alvin Kamara. You were to go for fantasy for quite a while.
Shout out to Goat, man.
Him. Shout it out. Well, I'm looking at where he was. Travis Etienne, I don't know if what I'm looking at is accurate. Travis Etienne was pretty low ranked, like drafted last year.
Yeah, because everyone hated him last year.
He was RB30. He was like the 90th pick basically last year. So that's really low. I mean, if he jumps all the way up to like, there's almost like the second round, that seems, I mean, that's like a pretty big jump.
that makes sense though. I mean, after the year he had last year and then the contract he got a 4-year, $52 million, man. That's a fuck ton of money, bro, for a running back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they just brought him in to fucking use him. So let the man loose, man. I don't see why not, right?
I think that you always have to keep watch of these guys. When these good running backs go to new destinations, they usually are used pretty frequently. Like in just recent history, Josh Jacobs to the Packers, Derrick Henry to the Ravens, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. And
it's that first year. It's that first year where they're like, I'm going to get my money's worth, right? So I feel like both of these guys will get their usage. With the Saints, I just feel like there's weird to say this with comparing them to the Chiefs, but we haven't seen a good Chiefs run game in a while, so I don't know what this is going to look like. I give a little bit more hesitancy. But when it comes to the Saints, I just seen them feed a running back like basically the last 10 years of my life with Alvin Kamara. I just don't see why they couldn't do the same with Etienne.
Would you rather have Kenneth Walker or Travis Etienne?
I'd take Etienne.
Interesting.
Really? I'd pick Walker.
I think Etienne has a safer floor. I think I've seen him do it. I know that sounds very simple to say, but like Kenneth Walker,
not as consistent.
Stats last year weren't good. And obviously, everyone's like, yes, Charbonnet was there. But Charbonnet is not going to be there this year. I don't know what that means. Obviously, everybody assumes that he is going to get 100% of Charbonnet's touches, but he's on the Chiefs, so you don't know what it's going to look like. But with Etienne, I've seen him be an RB1 multiple years. He's been very good and productive, and he had more money. And he's going to a team that probably will need him more technically. If you think about it, like Patrick Mahomes is still a quarterback for the Chiefs. Eventually, they're going to throw the ball a lot, right? Where when you're looking at the Saints, it's Etienne's their best player on offense now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, I don't know. First of all, Olave's still there, so...
Etienne's a better player than Olave.
I don't know about that.
If you're going like Madden overalls or something, I would guess his overall would be higher.
I don't use Madden overalls, but...
I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying like a system, if you ranked overalls, like I would say he's the higher, like the top 100 player, whatever you want to say. I think he'd rank higher than Olave.
I think it comes down to opportunity. If I were to pick between Walker and Etienne in a vacuum, and I would guess Etienne. I think there's a little bit more of an injury risk with Walker that we haven't covered. Like, what I always thought Clint Kubiak was doing when he was limiting Walker's touches was he didn't want him to get injured. He's had injury history in the past. I don't quite remember Travis Etienne's injury history, but I think his issue was a lack of efficiency. So I would go with Etienne. Yeah, coaches. I mean, Jacksonville's been through it. So
yeah, some of his coaches haven't helped him out.
Yeah, so Etienne by slightly. Hopefully in the second round for both. But let's move on here to the quarterbacks. The big free agent quarterback on the market, Malik Willis, got a pretty sizable deal down in Miami. G called it right there in our last episode. He joins his former assistant GM and his former defensive coordinator in Miami with 3 years, $67.5 million a year. In order to make room for starting quarterback position, they got rid of their old starting quarterback, Tua Tagavailoa, and released him on the first day of free agency, and he immediately signed with the Atlanta Falcons for a 1-year veteran minimum. He still collects all the money from Miami, I believe. But,
yeah.
I mean...
And they're going over 2 years, I think.
What's that? 2 years?
Yeah, the next 2 years, they will be paying out to I think it's $60 million this year and then $30 million next year.
Whew. Pretty penny for Tua. First of all, I actually like the move. I really like Tua to Atlanta. I really like Tua to Atlanta. It's weird to say, and I feel like everybody's down on Tua, and I get it. But you see this a couple of times, and we might see it again with Kyler Murray in a couple of days from now. But we just saw it last year in Indianapolis, First round bust who got paid way too much in his second contract inevitably gets released, and he finds a home with a new team, takes a prove-it deal, and he just has to get into a quarterback competition with their pretty much, cooked first-round quarterback, and he wins the job. And then he goes on to be super successful for like 9 games, right? I could see that with Tua. I could really see that with Tua. I've never been the biggest believer in Michael Penix. I think that this is the best move for Tua in order to get to rehabilitate kind of his image and his reputation, because he has been shown to be a functional starting quarterback in the league. A little bit of injury issues, a little bit of kind of not good decision issues, but he has been competent, and I think he could definitely win the starting job in Atlanta. Now, I don't know how productive he'll be there, and we might want to talk about that fantasy-wise, but what do you think about that?
I think that's fucking disgusting. Fantasy, real life, make-believe, Madden, whatever world you're looking at. If Tua has to start games for the Falcons, other than Penix being hurt, that's despicable. That's so despicable. It's just there's no ceiling there.
He's not like Dylan Gabriel. Like, this is a different
yes,
lefty
but he's
we're
also
talking about
not.
here.
There's no Mike McDaniel anymore.
Matt,
There's no one there to build the whole offense around him. He's not getting $50 million. Like, he's not that. Like, that version of Tua we saw is you pouring your whole team's resources into Tua, and that's what you can get. And it wasn't bad, but it still wasn't that good. Like, he just had a bunch of yards. Their team was still, losing almost every important game. He can't play in the cold. Like, I don't get it. If Michael Penix
Atlanta's
loses,
a dome. Don't worry about it.
If Michael Penix loses his starting job or starting competition to Tua, then he's also garbage, and you drafted him in the first round.
I feel like Tua will somehow get the starting job. I mean, he does have, Drake London. He's got our boy Kyle Pitts out there. He's got the weapons. But I don't know, I was surprised you're very rose-tinted was Tua, Matt. Have you forgot? Dude has CTE. Dude has permanent CTE. The guys in Atlanta, I think saw some Twitter spaces. They were going crazy. Like, Tua, we got 2 lefties. We got Tua out here with
That's the only part that makes sense is, like, you get a lefty backup to your lefty starter, and you guys can have the 2 worst quarterbacks, and they just both happen to be lefty.
Yeah. I really want them to trade for Dylan Gabriel. I really do.
God.
Oh my God, he's like the final evolution of the 2.
That'd be atrocious. That'd be like a circus quarterback, basically.
I prefer to talk about the other part of this that you mentioned earlier, Matt, was Malik Willis to Miami. I think Willis is a fine quarterback, but I think he's not going to get a chance to succeed there in Miami. You look at what's around him. No more Tyreek Hill. You still have Etienne and Waddle. Maybe, I guess, Darren Waller, if you want to count him. O-line, it's god-awful. The defense is god-awful. The coaching is questionable. We'll find out. Trade away Minka, other players. Bradley Chubb left yesterday as well. Like, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. So I just think that's the situation set up to fail, and fail really badly. And I assume maybe next year they'll have a much better shot of being fantasy relevant and just relevant, period. But I feel for Malik, man. I thought he was a good quarterback.
I don't really understand what Miami's doing out there, because I know that they were like over the cap. They had to cut Tua, Tyreek, Bradley Chubb, Minka Fitzpatrick. Yeah, okay, I get that. You're gonna go and rebuild, sure. But then you give Malik Willis, like, and it's not a terrible deal. I heard, crazy things coming out, like $30 million a year, $50 million a year for Malik Willis, which would be crazy. This is reasonable, like $67 million, 3 years.
Yeah, like 2 years guaranteed,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's not the worst contract, right? But I just don't really understand what the plan is then, right? Are you spending or are you saving? Are you trying to compete right now, or are you actually trying to rebuild? Like, Malik is probably going to give you a floor, like Malik, Etienne, Waddle is probably going to give you a floor where you're not going to be bad enough to tank for a Dante Moore or an Arch Manning.
You think so?
This year, right? I don't think it's going to be that bad.
You really think so? I think they could. Their ceiling is like 7 wins.
Oh yeah, I mean ceiling's 7
Ceiling,
wins, but I
the
don't. I
ceiling
think
is
floor
7.
is
Like, I think
4
they're-
losses, 4 wins, right?
I think floor is like 2 wins.
That's really.
Bro, they're one injury away to us. One of those 3 players you meant to having literally no talent on the team.
I don't think
don't say
2
that
wins.
lightly.
2 wins is crazy. Like
They could easily,
that's Raiders like level of.
They could easily trade Waddle and Etienne by the start of the season,
Yeah.
possibly,
And that's fine.
So
You can
we're
do
really
that.
just deprived of talent.
But
And
what's
you're
the point?
expecting them?
What was the point then of signing Malik Willis then? Right?
I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, maybe in their mind they think they have. I'm saying my analysis of looking at their team, what's on their paper right now. I see a floor of 1 win, 2 wins, and a ceiling of like 7. And if they see something else, I mean, I hope they make it happen. But the first time coach, I think you have a 2-year deal with Willis. You suck this year, maybe draft his replacement next year, let him try to play the second year out, have the replacement finish, take a spot eventually in the second year, and then you're done with Malik Willis, cut him and move on, right? Or I don't know, that makes sense, I guess.
So one thing I do want to mention before, I'll hand it to Bryant next for his thoughts is that usually when you give a contract to a guy that started this little in the NFL, I think there was a stat I saw where it's like players who made like less than 10 starts in the NFL and then got a huge deal afterwards don't work out. They do not work out. The only one that worked out was kind of Jimmy Garoppolo, right? When he got
The
traded to the
workout
Niners.
is questionable.
Well, Super Bowl is pretty good. Let's say Super Bowl is pretty good, right? 5 game starts, right? The only difference between Garoppolo versus all these other contracts, like say a Matt Flynn deal, right, is that Garoppolo actually got to audition for the Niners for 5 games before they gave him that contract. So sure, that's probably why it worked out. But you got your Matt Flynn's, you got your other quarterback contracts where they barely started and then they got this huge money, and it really didn't work out. Like Brock Osweiler, anybody, right?
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I feel like I'm missing something here. Maybe one of you guys can sit me down and explain, like, why is everyone so high on Malik Willis? Like, he appeared in 2 games last year that they both lost, and he scored like
he won. Didn't he win both?
But it's 2 games.
Yeah, he won both the games he played in.
Wait, did he? He beat
I'm
the
looking
Giants.
at it right now.
He beat the Ravens, but I don't
But
remember the
he
other
threw
one.
he threw for 6 yards in those games in the Giants in Minnesota. It says he played that Bears game, which they lost, and then the Baltimore game, they lost 41-24 in that one. I mean, 288 yards, 1 touchdown. He's like, automatically?
Oh, they did lose. Wow. Okay, I totally
like,
forgot. Yeah.
Why is Malik? When he started the league, he was a complete joke. I mean, I'm sure he.
Okay,
somewhere along the lines,
let me
I guess,
defend
got
him.
better.
Let me defend him here.
Yeah,
So,
please.
well,
Why is Malik Willis feeling a starting quarterback all of a sudden after 2 games that he lost?
That's a fair point. Okay, and I totally get what you're saying, but I think you need to take into account like the market, right? And I know that's such a terrible answer to what you're probably hoping to get. And I have no actual like tape reason. He throws the deep ball well, sure. I don't. $30 million was, I don't think, unrealistic at any point. I don't think that was happening, but you have Mendoza. That's going to be the first pick. And then if you're any other team that needs a quarterback, what's your answer, right? Like Jacoby Brissett, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. It's really bad. So that leaves the only promising young player left is Malik Willis, right? Like obviously you, me, Matt all agree that it's probably not going to work out for Willis because of the talent or his talent or however, but I assume they convinced themselves that there's the young talent there that they can have for maybe $20 million a year, and I guess that's what you're selling yourself on, right?
That's actually a pretty fair point in that, like, you're right, the current rookie quarterback class.
It's terrible, yeah.
It's generationally
Willis
bad.
Willis
as of
is
right
probably
now.
better prospect, like, right now, like, potential-wise than everybody but Mendoza. Like, I'd much rather try to give Willis $20 million and draft Ty Simpson in the second round, bro. It's just a waste of a second-round pick.
Yeah. Do you draft either one of these quarterbacks in fantasy?
No, bro. Why? Not Tua, bro. Why would you say either 2 of these, bro?
Run far
I'm telling
away.
you, bro. I am telling you. Tua is going to be the starter week 1.
Willis is interesting because he runs the ball.
Yeah.
I would maybe if I'm playing a 2-quarterback league, or if I just punt the quarterback position and I need a flyer, like last year's Justin Field, like type shit.
Tua is going to start in Atlanta week 1.
Stop.
He is.
That does not make him fantasy relevant either.
Okay.
Like, he wasn't fantasy relevant in Miami this last year, and he played most of the games.
Penix tore his ACL. They're installing a new system with Kevin Stefanski. Who's going to run that offense in off-season training camp, OTAs, whatever? Tua's going to be that guy. He's going to run it. I don't even know if Michael Penix is going to get the job.
He's running this shit awfully, bro.
It's going to happen, so prepare accordingly. Bijan, you're going to be goated, man. So many checkdowns.
Oh, man, I guess so.
All right, let's move on here to Pittsburgh. I know, man. We started it off with Mike Evans and stuff. Gee, now we're heading to your team here. I mean, lovely free agency you guys got going here so far. You guys have made some moves on the offensive end, which is rare.
Surprising.
But you first traded for Michael Pittman after Alec Pierce re-signed with the Colts for a very large deal. They had to make some room, so they traded Michael Pittman to the Steelers. I think it was like a late round pick swap, but now he's there. You also extended him for, I believe, 3 years, tore up the old contract, and then you also signed Rico Dowdle to a deal. So, I mean, first, what's your thoughts on those?
It's hard to give you my opinion on the moves collectively until I see it, obviously, but I've never been a fan of either of the players. And this is what I think we were texting about, Matt, and you asked, am I excited? I'm like, in theory, they're solid pickups. But in my mind, maybe I'm just, need to understand the future and stop looking at the past. I see Pittman and Dowdle, and all in my mind I think is Pickens and Gainwell. Like, they're both better than both of them. Why did we not just keep the talent we had? Like, I don't get it, That's the problem I don't get, is it's before this last year, Pickens was not in line for a massive contract. He would have probably took a 3 for $60 million contract, and we see the type of talent he is. So it's like you traded him for Pittman, essentially, and I'm not the biggest Pittman guy. Like, he's, trying to convince myself, but he's all right. Like, he's good. He's solid, But I don't know. I'm just not convinced of it. And then Dowdle is like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what Dowdle. Like, he had 3.5 good games, and I don't know what to do with that. Like, we had Kenneth Gainwell, and then people are like, dude, he's so much better. I'm like, how? Gainwell is our leading receiver, and that's not valuable. Like, I don't know. He led our team in reception, so it's hard to think of it like that, right? Pittman and Dowdle, in theory, sound like good pickups, but like I said, all in my mind, I think, is Pickens and Gainwell. I'd much rather have both of them than the both of these guys.
Okay, good's a little bit of a stretch, but serviceable. Michael Pittman, yeah. I mean, Brian, do you want to even defend him anymore?
Yeah, please, you defend him. I know you would.
I've always liked Michael Pittman.
I know you have.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. No, I mean, I think if you who does the Steelers have anyone? No, it's still gonna be Rodgers, right?
And we we don't even have a quarterback. So all of this offensive shit doesn't even make sense.
All I can say for Pittman is if you want to play around Pittman, you let him do what he does best, which is catch the deep ball. He's a big target. He's great at getting up, catching the ball, beating anyone trying to cover him there. So if you give him a guy who can throw a good deep ball, I think you got a shot with getting some good usage out of him.
You think he'll look good next to Will Howard?
Oh, no, it's over.
That'll be hard. It'll be a challenge. I mean, yeah, you guys screwed up once you traded for DK Metcalf. I'm sorry, G. That's when it went wrong.
You don't even got to get me started, bro.
Rico Dowdle, I do want to point out, I forgot that Mike McCarthy and him worked together in Dallas. In the last year, and then he actually kind of looked good. That was his first time really looking
1,000
good.
yards.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be kind of underrated there. Obviously, the whole situation with him and Jalen Warren is a little bit weird. I have a feeling it's going to be another split backfield again.
100% is going to be a split backfield, and it makes me question Warren would probably go back to actually being more of the pass catching running back, and Dowdle will take an infamous role of the Najee Harris, where you get the 3-yard carries every first down.
Arthur Smith's gone in the building, but I'm really still not inspired to draft him next year.
Same, and Pittman is going to be wide receiver 2 to Aaron Rodgers or Will Howard, it looks like. So what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? That's why like the moves are so uninspiring. When you're like, okay, sure, you spent another $60 million on a mid wide receiver, but like we don't have a fucking quarterback. Like go get Kyler Murray. Like he wants a spot to start. We don't have anybody. Like just tell him he'll play. He'll play the first day. He will easily be the best option for us. But it's like they don't even consider it. So it's like, how seriously am I supposed to take a fucking Michael Pittman wide receiver 2 move and Rico Dowdle split backfield? And even for fantasy, like how serious should anybody take this? Like Pittman, it probably like a 9th, 10th?
No, probably nothing. I am not drafting Michael Pittman. Maybe 12.
Like, and Rico Dowdle, like I might take a flyer on him
not.
Just because, like, on the 11th round or 12th round or something. Like, bro, like we're like the opposite of like the Niners in terms of bringing players fantasy life. We kill it. We just end it. Like DK Metcalf's never looked so bad.
Damn,
Good description.
A lot of pessimists here. I'll draft Pittman for you guys as entertainment. We'll see how that
No,
goes.
you're not drafting for our entertainment, so you could fucking have your USC collection, bro.
Gotta have at least one, man.
London,
trying
Pittman, Addison.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pittman, Addison,
Juju.
London.
Juju's, I don't even know if he's where he is anymore.
Dancing.
I mean, on the other side, Alec Pierce made this possible because now he's a big thing with the Colts. So he's wide receiver 1. I think we need to take into account that. Like, I don't think Alec Pierce was ever really drafted in a lot of fantasy leagues, but now they've officially given him the notice that he isn't wide receiver 1. So if you're in fantasy,
that's crazy.
I don't know how to gauge it yet, but
I think the person that benefits the most out of the Pittman Pierce Colts changeup is one Tyler Warren. Because he was a leading target getter. And I think now you take out Pittman, who was a target guy. I think he becomes like your main target receiver, and Pierce becomes your main deep threat. I mean, his game's not really going to change just because he has more money now. I think he's still a really, really good deep threat, and he should continue to do that. That leaves the middle and underneath for $50 million Daniel Jones with him and Alec Pierce. Or sorry, him and Tyler Warren. And Pierce keep taking shots with him down the field. And maybe also could be a place where if you're looking for, you know, a young receiver that gets drafted here, could have potential.
where do you see Alec Pierce being drafted? Would you even draft him? Like, I'd say it's hard. It's really hard. I don't know. It would also have to depend on if Daniel Jones is going to be back from his leg injury and torn Achilles. Like, that's a lot to come back from. Like, what is he going to look like when he comes back, right? I'd say around 8th round for now.
It's like a really, really bad like quarterback situation with the mid wide receiver 1. Like, yeah.
I think you're lower on Alec Pierce than most people.
Are you guys higher on him than I am? Like, you guys see him like taking on more of a role? Like, he didn't do anything other than catch deep passes, which, you know, impressive enough, but
his production was very, very good. Like, there were a lot of people that were going to sign him.
Last fantasy season, I thought. He had a pretty strong finish, I thought.
He had 1,000 yards. He had right over 1,000 yards, but, you know, Deontay Johnson used to have 1,000 yards, and now look at that.
Deontay Johnson he's pretty viable as a fantasy asset.
Yeah, but I don't know. My thing with Pierce is that he's not a catcher. He's not like a possession guy. He's not going to get the benefit of the PPR. Like, he's big shot, like, you know, touchdowns and jump balls. Like, that's, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Do you expect him to take a bigger role, like, within the offense? I mean, a little bit he'll have to because Pittman's not there, but, like, that's just not his game. So I don't know.
I do agree. I don't think he's like a true alpha, like wide receiver 1 out there. I think if you treat him as that, it's not going to go well. So I feel like you have to pair him with another viable wide receiver to take some of like,
exactly,
the defense off of him. So can Josh Downs step up for that? I think Ashton Dolan's there, but he did bad, I think.
Yeah,
so
Jesus Christ.
Depends how well the wide receiver 2 can help take the load off of Pierce. I think if there's another viable 2, it would work.
Give me Tyler Warren, baby, every play.
Oh, man. I have more faith than you guys do. You don't pay a guy that much and not use him more. They're not doing that just to say, hey, play the same role that you usually do. I think they want to expand him a little bit more. So, we'll see though.
I think he isn't even comparable to the next guy that I want to talk about. That's DJ Moore. I think we can kind of cover this pretty quickly here, but I think the move is perfect. Forget the comp of what they gave up, which felt like a little much, but just being able to go ahead and pair up Josh Allen with I would say wide receiver 1. I feel more confident about saying DJ Moore's wide receiver 1 than Alec Pierce. So give me that. Fantasy wise, I love it. Oh my God, it's going to be great. And he actually was with Joe Brady back in Carolina when he was his OC, and he played great there. I guess so. There's no real reason other than just chemistry with Josh Allen why they wouldn't be picking up the ground running there. And I love it. I think this is maybe 5th round, 6th round. This is that kind of range where he's a wide receiver 1 and he's going to be solid for you, but maybe the ceiling might not be there, but it's such a safe floor.
Yeah, I mean, he is a wide receiver 1 in name. Like, if he was your wide receiver, if he was your wide receiver 1, you wouldn't be thrilled. You wouldn't be too mad. I think for the Bills, they don't have
the Bills
anybody.
Are thrilled. I think they're so happy.
There's nobody there, so yeah, of course DJ Moore is your wide receiver 1, and you're probably happy. Yes, you probably gave up a little too much considering the place he is in his career, and the fact that the Bears probably did not want him. Probably could have negotiated a little bit more. It's a Brandon Bean thing, but I would be good with the production wise. I think he will be pretty productive with Josh Allen. We've known that if Josh Allen has a good, viable wide receiver 1, he will target him. Again, I want to look a little bit more in the offseason of Joe Brady and how he used DJ Moore. Joe Brady's been very much known in Buffalo to be a distributor and making Josh Allen a point guard. I wonder if he's going to go back to that focus on DJ Moore. I don't know. It seems like he should, but I'm not sure yet.
I think they'll use him a lot of quick passes. I feel like the Chicago Bears didn't really utilize DJ Moore for that. Ben Johnson is too smart to throw wide receiver screen and stuff of that nature. So I think they're going to get him the ball in a plethora of different ways, especially because the capital they gave up to him. Like you said, I mean, part of that is because their GM's just an idiot, but also when you pay the capital, that means, and the money, the contract he has is in $25 million a year. So he's going to get the ball a lot, I think.
6th or 7th round.
Yeah, I would love that. I would take that every time. I think he's going to get higher by the start of the year.
Yeah, I don't know about if I'd pay that, but we'll see. Okay. Is there any other signings that you guys want to cover in terms of fantasy, in terms of anything that, we missed out on? I know we didn't cover every single signing in the world, but I think we covered some of the big ones, but anything that we missed, now's the time.
I really like Tyler Algier to Arizona. Like, everyone forgets, Tyler Algier had a 1,000-yard season rushing, and he's been has to play second fiddle to Bijan, but now he gets his own team to just run amok there. So I think that's a good landing spot, just finally give him a shot to be a true RB1.
Talk about shots to be RB1. Quickly, I'll mention David Montgomery going to the Houston. Just give him a shot, bro. Why not? Joe Mixon shot himself in the foot or something. I don't know what he did, but quite literally and figuratively. But David Montgomery's got a great opportunity here. I think they want to get back to what they were doing 2 years ago with Mixon, so I love the opportunity there.
I really do like David Montgomery. You stole mine, G. It's pretty good. I think he's going to be a very decent starting running back. I wouldn't want him as my RB1 on my fantasy team, but
I would love him as my RB2.
If I drafted 3 wide receivers and then a running back or something, and he's my second running back. Okay, sure. I think I could do worse.
Live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to be a premium at a flex position. Like if you're third, if you go 3 running backs in your first 4 picks and he's like your third one or something, or your fourth round pick, I wouldn't be too mad with that. I think he's also going to be decently high because I think we've always seen the potential and we've seen what the Texans running backs can do. So give it a little mix of both. Like I think he'll be pretty high. I'd say like 4th or 5th round.
Yeah. Isaiah Likely to the Giants, quickly covering that. I mean, just watch out. I know we don't like I don't like talking tight ends. I don't like evaluating tight ends in fantasy, but there's something there. There's a reason why.
There, but it's a split tight end room. That's awful.
With who? With who?
Theo Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
He had a connection with Jackson Dart. It's not like he's my preference. Jackson Dart seemed to like him.
They always have connections with tight ends. Ross Dwelly was a thing in San Francisco, but that really didn't mean anything when George Kittle came.
Hey man, I don't think Isaiah Likely George Kittle, but yeah, all right.
Matthew bring out Ross Dwelly in the big 2026 here.
Yeah, what a pull, bro. I don't even know what
Shout out USD.
You win, bro. You got me there. Likely.
Okay.
First round.
What? Okay. Anything else you want to mention? Any predictions for the next week of free agency?
So I got one that I told you guys about beforehand, and I didn't tell you guys my full take here. I saw a little bit of it online, and I kind of liked it, so I stole it. I stole the take, and I'm gonna run with it now. I think Kyler Murray is gonna sign with the Los Angeles Rams, and he'll replace Matthew Stafford next year.
I've heard about this one actually.
I think it makes a lot of sense because if you're him, like, what does like 1 year matter? Like, go play COD for a year, anyways. Like, lit, dude. Like, life's good, bro. I don't know, like, dude. I don't know. I feel like if I were him, I'd want the most guaranteed shot of having success and getting back to a big contract, like the whole nine, Nick. You know what I mean? Like the same way Sam Darnold sat a year. It doesn't hurt to sit. Baker sat behind in LA and did wonders for him. So sitting behind a LA quarterback, and if Matthew Stafford decides to play the year after, you're just I feel like the vibe of Kyler Murray is going to be so good, like of wanting to get him on your team. And where right now it's like it sounds awful.
I could see it happening, especially because Cliff Kingsbury is the new Rams assistant head coach. So there's a connection there. There's definitely there's a belief that Kyler could go there. He could sit behind Stafford. I've never liked Cliff Kingsbury, but I don't think I've heard anything bad. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't remember their relationship, but if there was a connection, there's that connection. I still think he goes to Minnesota, though. I think he wants to do, a lot of athletes, they want to compete, and he's seen the Darnold path in Minnesota, and maybe he would take that there.
But the Darnold path starts with the year on the bench.
He had half a year on the bench. Does that count?
What are you talking about? If he needs to follow the Darnold paths, we need Kyler Murray on the Niners. He needs to learn from the right people.
I would go to LA before I go to San Francisco, but
you'd be wrong.
That's just me. That's just me, though.
I think that two things. If we trade Mac Jones, which I hope we don't, we'll sign Kirk Cousins to back up.
I don't think you guys are trading Mac Jones.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to happen. The other one that I think is far-fetched, but I really like happening, is that Devon Etienne gets traded to the Chargers in a swap.
So badly want him or Waddle to get traded, bro. I think either one of them makes sense.
He needs a shot.
I think that Etienne is going to be, he's going to get an extension soon. And Miami, again, I don't really know what they're doing, but I don't think if I was rebuilding, I would sign a running back to a huge contract. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So instead of extending him, I would trade him right now while he's cheap and get a lot of draft picks or capital. And Mike McDaniel, I think that Etienne is the prototypical back, that he's the perfect back that Mike McDaniel wanted for his system and his scheme, and that's why he used him so well, and that's why he was a running back one under his system.
Yeah,
Omari and Hampton.
I could already imagine it. You have Hampton backed up, and then Etienne is running circles around Herbert, and Hampton runs out for a 50-yard wheel from Justin Herbert.
I could see Hampton getting traded in this, though. That's what I think. I think Hampton could get traded to Miami for Etienne.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. It would be interesting because Hampton, I like Mike McDaniel to the Chargers, but when I thought about the Hampton fit, it was just a little bit off to me because Hampton's a little bit of a bigger guy who bowls over people. He's a good receiver. He's a good running back. Like, I'm not going to trash him, but
yeah,
Mike McDaniel's a lot more speed based, and I don't really know about
But
that.
the thing is, Hampton feels a lot more like a Harbaugh guy who ends up actually being the head coach. So
exactly. It's just,
I don't think he goes anywhere.
We'll have to see who's the true
I think
coach.
I could see the Waddle. I could see the Waddle to the Chargers. I think they really need a receiver.
That'd be good too. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get instantly injured there, but it's just like Mike Evans to the Niners. If you're gonna say that with the Niners, Waddle to the Chargers. Chargers are basically our AFC brother in that they always get injured.
That's true.
So,
any last predictions, Bryant?
Last predictions.
What is happening with the USC guys? Anything?
The USC guys.
Is there any that's unsigned
there's
still?
That one. I don't think so. I mean, the guys that aren't. I mean, what? Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, those guys are like.
But tell us where
they aren't
Juju
going
goes, man.
anywhere.
Jordan
Dude,
Addison, is he gonna get traded for being a dumbass again?
Is he gonna get caught speeding again?
God, speaking. Nah, keep him. Well, actually, no. I can see him being the type to try to go somewhere for like a better deal. I don't know how strong the market is out there for a guy like Jordan Addison right now. Yeah, where would Addison go if he were to leave? Who needs a wide receiver 2 and wants to take a shot at him as a wide receiver 1?
I would have said New England, but he had some comments about that. So
yeah, that shit's funny. Idiot, bro.
we didn't even talk about Dobbs to the Patriots, but I don't think there's a lot to talk about there. Like that's just the level of what it is. Gav's probably not very happy.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, well, that wraps up our recap of week 1 in free agency. Obviously, there's still a lot of deals to be had, and if there's anything very significant, we might cover it. But until then, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find the Sports Counsel podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts from. Follow us on social media at sports_counsel on Twitter, Threads, Instagram. We are everywhere. We're on TikTok, obviously, as well now. Join the Discord, and the link is in the bio to all of those social medias. And please join us for some March Madness. It should be fun. Stay tuned for more episodes, for more updates on the latest and greatest of our sports takes.
See you.
That'll do it, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.